Hello, I'm Sensei Alex Kakuyo, North American Correspondent for Buddhistdoor Global. Thanks for joining me for this episode of The Ordinary Buddhist. This evening's Dharma talk is called Embracing the Darkness. Before we get into that, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you'll be notified when I post talks in the future. If you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, that'd be great too. Now, one of the plants that we grew last year in our garden and had a lot of success with was potatoes. And potatoes really are sort of magical food. They're easy to grow, they're very nutritious, and you can prepare them in a number of different ways. It's no surprise that potatoes have been a staple crop for humans for thousands of years, and I personally enjoy them quite a bit. But they're a little quirky in how they grow. You see, potatoes don't have seeds necessarily. You actually take a whole potato, you let it sit for a while, so it has eyes, as they're called, that grow out the side. They look like white roots, essentially. And then you take those chits, or potato seeds, and you plant them in the ground. Water, soil, sunlight, and before you know it, you have potato vines coming up out of the earth. They look like a big giant bush. They're actually very pretty to look at. But this is where things get interesting with potatoes. All these beautiful vines come up out of the ground, and you respond by pouring dirt on them. And you keep doing that. The taller the vines get, the more dirt you put on top. Up, up, up. And you continue watering. And as long as you do a good job of watering the potato vines, what happens is all those vines underneath the soil start to develop new potato buds. So the deeper you bury them, the more potatoes you have in your harvest. But this is interesting because it's quite the opposite of what you would expect to need to happen with any plant, really. You would expect that you want the vines to grow and be completely unimpeded, but that's not the case. Potatoes need darkness. They need to be buried in the soil to create new life. In fact, the more times you bury them in darkness by covering up their vines in soil, the more potatoes they grow. Humans work in much the same way. We spend so much time running away from the darkness, running away from the suffering in our lives, when in reality it is a terrific opportunity to practice the Dharma, to grow our own Buddha nature in the same way that potato vines grow potatoes. Now, to be clear, I'm not saying that we should purposely cause ourselves to suffer. After all, life gives us plenty of suffering to work with on its own. And I'm certainly not saying that we should not try to solve problems when they arise. I'm simply reminding you that when problems arise, and they will, if we look at them as an opportunity to grow in our spiritual practice, our suffering will become less, and we will use that opportunity to move deeper into our own training, deeper into the Dharma. If we embrace the darkness as a friend instead of running from it, we'll find that it's a lot less scary in the end. Amitabha.